There's a strange silence that follows a man who's finally had enough. Not the kind that begs for closure. Not the kind that leaves doors half open. No, this is the kind of silence that feels like a locked door with no key. A man walks away not because he's weak, not because he's bitter, but because he finally understands his value. And when that moment comes, something shifts in her world. You'd think she wouldn't care after all, she had all the power, didn't she? She was the one who responded late. Cancelled plans last minute, flirted with the idea of being busy. She played her part well, but deep down she always believed you'd stay because you always did. But not this time. This time you went silent. No announcement, no dramatic exit. Just gone. And that silence, it's louder than any argument, any confession, any desperate goodbye. It echoes in places she never thought you could reach. It shakes something shedded teeth think you had the power to touch her ego. Most men never get to see what happens next. They cave before the silence can do its job. But the rare ones, the ones who truly walk away, get to witness a truth no woman wants to admit. So let's strip away the illusions and reveal exactly what happens to her when you walk away. Not what she says, not what she posts, but what she feels deep beneath the mask. Let's begin. At first, she doesn't feel fear. She feels confident, almost smug. You see, for a long time she believed she had you wrapped around her finger. Every late reply, every last-minute cancellation, every vague excuse, all of it was part of a game she thought she was winning. She didn't need to chase because you were always there. Texting first, trying harder, apologizing for things you didn't even do. You kept showing up, and that made her feel powerful. She learned how to give you just enough attention to keep you hanging on. A flirty emoji here, a compliment there, a promise to meet up soon, but never too much, never too fast, just enough to make you crave her approval, just enough to make you second-guess yourself when she pulled away again, and it worked. You kept chasing. You kept hoping, but then something happened. You didn't text first. You didn't call to check in. You stopped asking when she was free. You stopped trying to decode her signals, you simply vanished. And that's when it hits her. At first, she assumes it's a tactic. Maybe you're playing a game, giving her a taste of her own medicine. She's seen men do that before. But as shoes turn to days and days stretch into silence, that certainty begins to erode slowly, uncomfortably, because something feels different this time. You're not ignoring her. You're indifferent. You're not playing hard to get. You're not playing at all. And for the first time in this whole dynamic, she's not Suresh in control anymore. The silence starts to crawl under her skin. She tells herself she doesn't care, but she keeps checking her phone. She watches her own story to see if you viewed it. She scrolls through your profile, looking for signs that you're still lingering in the background, liking, watching, waiting, but you're not there. No reactions, no presence, no signal. She double takes, refreshes, checks her settings. Maybe there's a glitch. Maybe you blocked her. The panic begins. Not loud, not dramatic, but slow and gnawing. A quiet kind of fear that whispers, "He's really gone." She doesn't reach out immediately. That would be too obvious, too vulnerable. So, she tests the water. She likes a post from 3 weeks ago. She sends a vague, "Hey," text out of nowhere. She might comment on something meaningless just to see if you'll take the bait. And with every hour you don't respond, her anxiety sharpens. Her mind races with questions. Is he seeing someone else? Was he really that tired of me? Did I push too far? She tells her friends she's fine. Laughs a little too loud. Posts a picture with a caption meant to sting. Unbothered, but it's all a front and it's starting to crack because the truth is she didn't expect this. She thought she'd always have you as a backup, a safety net, but now the net's been pulled. And she's the one falling. And that's when it begins, the unraveling of the illusion. The ego that once stood tall now starts to question itself. Quietly, desperately, she stares at her reflection longer than usual now. Fixes her makeup twice before going out, replays old photos where she looked her best, and wonders if she's lost it. She used to walk into rooms knowing the attention was hers. Now there's a shadow behind her confidence, a doubt she can't shake. Not because you said anything cruel, not because you criticized her, but because you stopped looking. That quiet rejection, no words, no drama, just absence, is something she was never trained to handle. Men face rejection constantly. They get ghosted, ignored, curved, and keep moving. But women, they're used to being pursued, complimented, fought for. So when you became the first man who didn't come running back, it shook something in her identity. She starts asking herself questions she can't answer. Was I not good enough? Did he meet someone better? Why doesn't he miss me? These thoughts come all at once. They creep in when she's alone late at night in the silence between songs or in the pause after a notification that wasn't from you. She tries to distract herself, goes out more, posts more selfies, flirts with new men, but none of it feels right. Because the one man she wanted validation from is the one man who no longer needs hers. And then it hits her, this isn't just about losing you. This about losing the version of herself she believed she was desirable, unforgettable, irresistible. Your silence didn't just bruise her ego. It shattered her mirror. She can't sit with that feeling for long. So she does what many do when they're trying to outrun pain. She replaces it not with healing, not with introspection, but with distraction. And the fastest way to another man, enter the rebound. Is available, eager, maybe even a little too enthusiastic. He texts back instantly, compliments her constantly, tells her she's amazing without needing to be convinced. And for a brief moment it works. Her posts look happier. Her smile looks wider. Her captions are louder, as if she's screaming to the world and to you that she's already moved on. But something feels off because this new man, he doesn't challenge her. He doesn't have the mystery. He doesn't carry the calm, grounded presence you had. He's too available, too eager to please too. And deep down, she knows that's not what she truly wants. Respect is born from tension. From knowing a man has boundaries, from feeling like she has on his attention, not be handed it for free. This new guy, he didn't make her work for anything. So slowly, her interest begins to fade. She starts replying slower, cancels plans without explanation, scrolls through your page again, not because she wants to come back, but because she realizes she downgraded. She thought she was winning, but now in the quiet moments when the noise fades and the flattery dies down, she starts to feel it. The one emotion she never expected to feel for you, regret. It creeps in when she least expects it. Maybe when she's out with friends and catches herself comparing the new guy's voice to yours. Or when she laughs at a joke but remembers how effortlessly you used to make her laugh without even trying. The regret doesn't announce itself. It doesn't show up with a dramatic apology or a late-night call. It shows up in the silence, in the knowing. Because now she sees it clearly. You weren't just another guy who chased her. You were the one who walked away. The one who didn't break, the one who didn't beg. And that kind of man, he leaves a mark. Not because he tried to, but because he didn't need to. Now you're not checking her stories. You're not liking her pictures. You're not showing up in the comments hoping Tobe noticed. You've gone quiet in a way that's not temporary, but final. And that silence screams the truth. You're done. And while she's still trying to convince herself that she doesn't care, she knows. She knows exactly what she lost. Not just a man, but a mirror. A mirror that once reflected the best version of herself and now shows only the cracks. But by the time she realizes this, you're no longer reachable. Not because you're hiding, but because you've outgrown the need to be seen. And that's what haunts her most. Because the greatest power a man can hold is not the power to be desired, but the power to walk away and mean it. So now she's left performing for an audience that no longer includes you. Every story she posts, every laugh she forces, every flirtation she engages in, it's all theater. A show designed to prove Thatch's unaffected, that she won. But deep down she knows the truth. She lost the only man who didn't need her validation to feel complete. You see, most men keep chasing because they fear being forgotten. They keep texting, keep hoping, keep fighting for a place in her world, even when she's already closed the door. But a man who walks away with purpose, a man who refuses to be controlled by fleeting affection, that man becomes unforgettable. You didn't become more attractive because you begged less. You became more powerful because you stopped needing to be chosen. You stopped playing the game, and in doing so, you became the one man she couldn't figure out. The one she couldn't break. And that's why she panics. Not because she loves you, not because she wants you back, but because you forced her to confront the truth without even saying a word. That her power only worked on the men who didn't know their worth. And you finally realized yours. So, if you're still wondering whether she thinks about you, trust me, she does. But not the way you used to think. She thinks about how she lost control. She thinks about how you did flinch. And most of all, she thinks about how you vanished without needing her to notice. That is what haunts her, but here's the part most men never reach. The part where you no longer care if she's haunted or not, because once you've truly walked away, not as a tactic, but as a truth, something inside you shifts. You stop looking back. You stop checking if she's watching. You stop needing to be understood, missed, or remembered. You become free not just from her but from the entire cycle. The need to prove yourself. The desire to be validated, the chase, the exhaustion. All of it fades quietly like a storm that passes in the night. And in its place comes clarity, strength, peace. This is where Stoic men separate themselves. Because walking away isn't about revenge. It's not about making her regret. It's about reclaiming your power internally, silently, without asking for permission. It's about choosing yourself even when no one else claps for you. And the truth is, the men who master this don't need closure. They don't write long messages or ask for explanations. They don't fight to stay in a woman's life. They simply leave and build a better one. So if you've reached this point, you're not just walking away from her. You're re-walking into the man you were meant to become. One who doesn't beg. One who doesn't chase. One who doesn't fear losing what doesn't serve him. Let others panic. Let them scramble for attention. You just keep walking because real power is quiet. Real value is still. And real men never look back. And as you continue forward, something unexpected happens. The further you get from her emotional gravity, the clearer your mind becomes. You start seeing patterns you missed before. How often you settled, how deeply you compromised your standards just to be wanted, how much of your energy was spent trying to be enough for someone who never planned to reciprocate. Now there's no more second-guessing your worth. No more trying to decode mixed signals or wondering where you stand. You stand on your own now, unshaken, because you've stopped asking the wrong questions. You're no longer asking, will she come back, or does she still think of me? You're asking, why did I ever give someone that much control over my peace? That's the shift. When a man finally becomes indifferent to chaos, that's when he becomes dangerous. Not dangerous in a destructive way, but in a grounded, unshakable, stoic way. He doesn't need to speak louder, act tougher, or prove anything to anyone. His silence carries more weight than their noise ever could, and that's the kind of man she'll remember forever. Not because he tried to be unforgettable, but because he had the strength to walk away and never return. So, if you've made it this far, understand this isn't just a tactic. It's not a way to get her back. It's a way to never need her back. You didn't lose her. You found yourself. And once you've done that, there's nothing left to chase. She may come back. She may send that late-night message, suddenly remembering a memory only the two of you shared. She might watch your stories again, throw out a casual, "Hey, stranger," or even pretend like nothing ever happened. She'll test the waters not because she's ready to love you better, but because she wants to see if she still can. But by then, it won't matter because the man you've become is no longer waiting for her to catch up. You've outgrown the version of you that needed her attention. You've evolved into someone she can no longer reach, not because you blocked her, but because you've detached your identity from her validation. And this is what women never expect. Not the silence, not the distance, but the transformation. She thought she was just losing your messages, your time, your affection. But what she really lost was access. Access to your energy, access to your presence, access to the man she never thought would walk away and never looked back. That realization, it doesn't come with fireworks. It comes in moments she can't predict. When she sees something that reminds her of you. When her new relationship starts to feel too shallow, when she realizes the kind of man she once had and never truly appreciated, and in that moment, while she's silently mourning what she let slip through her fingers, you'll be miles ahead. Not bitter, not broken, just gone. And that is your power. You didn't walk away to teach her a lesson. You didn't disappear to spark jealousy or play games. You walked away because staying was slowly killing your self-respect. And the man you're re-becoming, he doesn't negotiate his value. This isn't about punishing her, it's about choosing you. Because the truth is, some women don't appreciate your presence until it becomes your absence. But by the time they realize what they lost, the version of you they once knew no longer exists. You've evolved. You've detached. You've leveled up. And that's what they never see coming. She thought you'd circle back. She thought like every other man you'd get tired of the silence and break it first. But this time, you didn't. You embraced the stillness. You used the silence to rebuild, to reconnect with yourself, to rediscover your worth outside of her attention. You didn't just walk away. You walked into something better. So, let her chase ghosts. Let her wonder what happened. Let her learn on her own time that when a Stoic man walks away, he doesn't look over his shoulder. You're no longer the man who waits to be loved, right? You're the man who leaves when love requires you to abandon yourself. And that's the kind of goodbye she never forgets. Not because it was loud, but because it was final.